Hi, this is Jeff McFeeters. We're in Photoshop, and this is a very short uh, tips tutorial just demonstrating how to take care of an issue that plagues photography editing the world over, and that is what to do with the little light colored halos that show up in areas of high contrast due to as a result of some of our processing of the image. And you'll see it's not too obvious in this image, but there is a little bit of it along here, as well as there's a faint line around the rock here between the rock and the water. So how to deal with it? The best thing is to start on have a clean, fresh stamp of this layer. So I'll Command J, and I've created a layer, secondary layer here in Photoshop to work in. Okay, and then I will grab a selection tool. Quick selection tool is my favorite for this, and then I'll zoom in pretty close. Let's just take an area here. This is as good as any, and I'll just kind of go along here, and it will create a selection. I don't really care about any of this out here. I'm looking at the line of demarcation between the light and dark areas, and it did a pretty good job. I'll usually come up here to the refine edge and pick smart radius and come up to maybe like a pixel. Click OK, and that'll make it a little bit smoother. And then I might come in just a little bit closer, and well, we're really getting down to the pixel level. This isn't a real high resolution image here for this example, but the S key will choose the stamp. Clone stamp is selected here, and if I option click somewhere out in here, it will pick an area from which to copy from, and then I'll click on that, and then when I lift up and move, it's taking that information and applying it to the area that I will start to brush in. I'll be using a pretty soft brush, and I am in the mode of darken. Normal is fine too, but because this is always a real light colored line and the pixels next to it are darker, and if there did happen to be some dark areas in there and I wanted to not affect them by picking darken, it's just going to affect the lighter pixels and make them the color of the darker pixels that I'm pulling from. Okay, so make your brush a little larger than this area, and just option click, and then just start brushing. When you get up here, option click again, because you kind of want it to correspond. You can see this when I brush, a little plus, little crosshairs, and that shows you where it's pulling the pixels from. Okay, and Command D will undo this selection, and you can see it's pretty well gone. There's a little bit here. Command Shift D will reselect. I can get this little area a little bit better if I want, and that's really all there is to it. It's a very simple process, and you don't have to be overly anxious if you did something that you didn't notice at the time, created these halos or this little fringe around dark objects against much lighter areas, and you would like to fix it. This is a simple way to do that. Thanks again, and happy editing.